What's up guys? Today we're talking about flick aim and specifically how to fix that horrible shaky overshooting that happens to literally everybody when you try to snap onto a target under pressure. It doesn't matter what you're playing, it can be a tactical shooter, it could be a hero shooter, a battle royale. Flicking is universal across every single FPS game, but there's a massive difference between a clear controlled flick and a panic swipe that's going to send you straight back to the spectator screen. Ask me how I know. A few months ago, life got pretty hard and I had to take a long break from gaming. And when I finally came back, I was so hyped to jump back into lobbies and I was getting absolutely destroyed. My mechanics had gone to woof. It was terrible. My micro adjustments were shaking. I was getting tilted out of my mind because I actually used to be pretty good at this stuff. My immediate coping mechanism was just dodge my own bad stats, queue up match after match after match, and just pray that my aim would somehow magically fix itself. It didn't, so I decided to stop raw dogging matches and just use aim labs. The main reason I wanted to try that out over things like Kovacs or Aim Beast is, well, one, it was free, and I didn't even know if it would help, but I was pretty impressed with the free stuff. You don't need to pay to get good, not at all. But when I started running flicking benchmarks, the AI coach told me something really interesting. My initial wide flick wasn't actually that bad, but my tiny little micro corrections were completely busted. So look at my screen right here. This is what a broken overcorrected flick looks like in slow motion. When you panic swipe at a target, your hand explosive swipes over the pad, it overshoots the target hitbox, and then your wrist has to perform like a really awkward, kind of like shaky backwards correction to get back on target. It's very like a clumsy little wobble. You lose 200 milliseconds, and in any competitive shooter, losing 200 milliseconds means you die. Now look at what a clean flick looks like. It looks fast, but when you break it down frame by frame, it's completely controlled. My hand launches towards the target to get it into that kind of immediate navel pad. My wrist cuts the physical momentum of the mouse to hit a dead stop, right on center mass, and I click. It is one single straight laser line across the screen with zero curved paths, zero zigzags, and zero shaking at the end. When I dropped $10 to test out the paid AimLabs Plus for a month, the data flagged something that was really interesting, and if you're struggling with sticky flick aim, this is probably happening to you too. So whenever I got into a fight that was a little bit chaotic, I was death gripping my mouse. I was under stress. I would push down hard into my mouse pad, which created a ton of physical friction between the sensor and the pad. That downward mouse pressure made my initial flick feel really heavy, which meant that my micro adjustments just weren't sticking at all. Once AimLabs helped me kind of identify that problem, I found a 10-minute flick routine to kind of reprogram my hand mechanics, and I want to walk you through what to focus on while you watch me run it. So the first scenario here is called Pentaflick. This is about calibration. The targets here are a bit bigger, they're very predictable. My focus in this drill is maintaining a completely loose hand grip. You want to put your ego away when you run this. I'm going to move my mouse at roughly 70% of my maximum speed, but what that does is it forces my arm to draw a perfectly straight line without curving. Right as my crosshair reaches the target, I drop all the tension in my hand and let the mouse glide to an absolute stop. It's basically like training the air brakes in your wrist so you stop overshooting. Next up, we swap over to Micro Shot Ultimate. This shifts the focus away from wide movement to micro correction, kind of calibration. Look at how tiny these targets are. If I overshoot by even a millimeter here, it's a miss. My shoulder and forearm are completely still right now. I'm using purely my fingers and my wrist to make these tiny, ultra precise adjustments. Notice how I'm not clicking until my crosshair is completely locked on a target. I wanted to try to maintain 95% accuracy on this task, and if it dropped below that, it meant that I was moving faster than my hand could stabilize and I needed to cut the ego. I forced myself to slow down until my deceleration was smooth and stable. Once that straight line path is clean, the speed just develops naturally. Finally, we finish this whole sequence with Burst Flick Ultimate. This gives you targets that spawn at these very different angles and varying distances, kind of just like in real games. It forces your brain to calculate new movement on the fly instead of just relying on muscle memory. Like you'd find in the game, the focus here is that combining that loose wide impulse with the instant wrist stabilization on the landing. And this takes about 10 minutes all in all, but it's always worth taking another 60 seconds to look at your dashboard stats. I checked if my mouse trajectory was straight, if I let my hand tense up again, create that friction again, and actually taking these 10 minutes to isolate those mechanics, just shake out your wrists, stop panic swiping, transformed my consistency across every single game that I play. You can stop guessing why you kind of just choked a gunfight and actually build kind of that repeatable muscle memory that leads to getting good. Have you guys tried isolating your flick mechanics inside Aim Labs, or just like grinding death matches and hoping for the best? If you've been using this for a longer season grind, let me know down in the comments if you found it useful over a couple of months. I also want to know your best tips for keeping your hand relaxed when fights get chaotic, because I'm still not great at it. Drop a like on the video if this helped you out, train smart, and I'll catch you all in the next one.